everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday today, and every Tuesday I jump on and share a sketch challenge with you. So I quite like this sketch challenge. It's a great way. I mean, there's all sorts of ways to use sketches when you're creating your cards. I like this one because it is a way of using up designer series paper. So we all end up with strips of designer series paper, little pieces. And so this is a way that you can use some of those pieces up if you wanted to. But there's also other ways you could use this sketch with embossed cardstock. You could create your own designer series paper. You could do some stamping on it. So yeah. Hey Sharon, hey Lynn, welcome. So hopefully you'll like the sketch. It will go live on Instagram and Facebook in about a half hour's time if you miss any of the measurements as I'm going through, so you can grab it there. If you have any questions, if you're on live, just ask your questions as we're going through. Otherwise, leave a comment either on my Facebook group or on YouTube, and I will answer your questions. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Joey. All right, let me switch over and I'll show you the sketch and then we'll get started. I'm using a brand new product that's a new online exclusive, so I'm kind of excited about that. I used it last night in our card class that I do on Monday nights. So if you're ever wanting to join, it's free. We make a card together. It's at 7 o'clock Pacific on Monday nights. Okay, so this is the sketch. Again, it'll go live in about a half hour's time. So your card base is either 5.5 by 8.5 or 4.25 by 11. You've got layer number 1, which is this green layer, which is your standard 4 inches by 5.25. And then 3 pieces of designer series paper, cardstock, whatever you wanted, that are 1.25 by 3 3/4. I've set a circle or some shape 2 3/8 inch, and I did that because I'm using that 2 3/8 inch punch, and then a sentiment that I set as 1/2 inch by 2 inches. I might get that in. My sentiment, when I give you the measurement for a sentiment, it really is a guideline, because whatever sentiment you go to use, just make your piece, of course, big enough for it. Okay, so let me show you what I'm using. This is a new stamp set that is an online exclusive. It's a distinctive stamp set called Feathered Flight, and I love it. I used this one last night. It is just so pretty and definitely masculine, but these ducks are so cute, and some really nice sentiments. This, I think I'm going to use the Thinking of You one. Okay, I pulled out, because I was thinking it's a kind of a masculine stamp set. So I pulled out designer series paper from the Let's Go Fishing. I love this one in Mossy Meadow and Wild Wheat in the check plaid. It's got the fish on the back. So that's my color combination. So I've got a piece of Wild Wheat that's 4.25 by 11, and we'll score it at 5.5. And as always, fold into the mountain or the raised line and burnish with your bone folder. So that's my card base. Now I've got a piece of Mossy Meadow. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on this. I was thinking I was going to emboss, but I think I'm going to do some stamping. So I've got Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to use these 3 little birds, ducks. Our ducks probably, I don't know, I live on the west coast of Canada, so I actually don't know. They might not always fly south. Definitely on the prairies, they go south. All right, just pulling out my, let's see. I think I'm going to use the 2 ducks. Like I said, I haven't used this. Yeah, I have to. Okay, there we go. I've only used a couple of the stamps out of this last night. Hey, Anne, welcome from Tennessee. Glad you could join. All right, so I'm going to stamp, and I want to make sure I have my birds flying the right way. So That's kind of the right way. So this is going to be tone on tone. My Mossy Meadow is quite juicy, so I'm going to stamp off just slightly because I re-inked it last night. If you were, I don't know if any of you guys, I don't think were on last night. I was re-inking my Cherry Cobbler and this Mossy Meadow, and my Cherry Cobbler re-inker had a little hole in it. I couldn't figure out why there was ink on my storage and my toppers. But when I pulled the Cherry Cobbler out, it was leaking, and I ended up with very red hands as I was stamping last night. Thankfully, I have some, it's called Lava soap, which is the most amazing thing. It's got pumice in it. So it cleaned off. Ooh, that's really a mess. It cleaned my hands. I couldn't believe it. My hands were not all red when I went to bed last night. What was a little red was I got a little bit on my sweater, but I soaked it overnight, and that seems to have come off out too. So I guess it was good all around. There we go. Okay, so this piece is going to go on here, and then I cut 3 pieces of this pretty paper. Now this, you're not going to see much of my birds, but I wanted some little bit. I probably, because I haven't done a very good job of getting the birds in the middle, so let's kind of add some more birds here. No, maybe not. Okay, we'll just leave it. I probably should have embossed it instead of doing the stamping, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to start top and bottom. So I want to kind of align, make sure that they're kind of even. So I'll go top, bottom, and then middle. It's over here. Like that. Hello, Johanna. Welcome. All right, so we'll put that in the middle. Again, my birds, you're only seeing a few of the birds, but that's okay. There we go. And then this piece can go on. This Mossy Meadow and Wild Wheat is one of my absolute favorite color combinations. I know not everybody's crazy about Wild Wheat as a color, but I love it. Okay, so I went ahead and I punched out a circle from Wild Wheat because that's going to go there. And then I also, so that's the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. I also cut out, this is using the deckled rectangle dies. There's a lot of them. I think there's like 16. So I just kind of figured out, not that one, figured out which one would fit. And now I can't find it. Must be here somewhere. Maybe it's this one. I just kind of eyeballed it to see which one fit best on the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. And I like the kind of ragged edge to these. So that's that one. Okay, so I'm going to stamp. And like I said, I'm going to stamp the birds, these 2. I don't know what this is actually going to look like, so I'm going to stamp on here first. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, so part of this is probably going to get cut off, but I make sure I don't get too much of it cut off. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh gosh, my Mossy Meadow is very juicy. So I'm going to use dimensionals. Yeah, I really love Wild Wheat. I bought a shirt that is actually Wild Wheat. I haven't worn it yet, but it's. Where was I? I was in Calgary with my sisters in September, and oh, everywhere we went, we were shopping. Everywhere we went, Wild Wheat was the color. it's hard to see when you stamp. So this, I said these are distinctive stamps. If you stamp it and your ink is too juicy like this is, you don't see, you can kind of just see it on the edge. You don't really see that distinctive look to the stamps. So I tend to stamp off if I'm doing, or I try to remember to stamp off if I'm using a distinctive stamp if my ink pad is really juicy. Okay, now I pulled these. This is the In Color Jute trim, and I really like this, so I'm going to use the Wild Wheat one. But I love this trim, but it's very thick, so I don't use it as it is because it doesn't. I don't know. It's really thick, and so it doesn't layer nicely. So I take my Take Your Pick tool. And it seems that one end will always do this better than the other. I take my Take Your Pick tool and just try to separate it out. There are 3 strands of jute that have been plied together. And you can usually just kind of gently pull it and separate the strands. It will be crinkly because it's been spun together. So there we go. It really wants to stay together, but there we go. So you can pull it. So you end up with 3 strands, and then you can take, and even though I'm still using 3 strands, I'm just going to take and kind of pinch them together like that. And let's get just a little bit of Stampin' Seal to hold that in place like that. And then I'm going to put my, oopsie, that didn't hold that in place. Let's do that again. Kind of like that. There we go. It's okay to have a few edges sticking out. Ends, not edges, ends sticking out. All right, so I'm going to just use dimensionals on this, and this will help hold it in place. So if any of you, I was getting ready today, I've got it all laid out thanks to my friend Cynthia, who's also on my team, came over and helped me get my craft table organized. So some of you will know I'm in a craft fair on Thursday night here in Ladysmith. We have it's called Light Up, and every, oops, I'm just going to cut that anyway. The last Thursday of November every year, well, except if there's COVID, we have a light up parade, and so the whole town lights up. There's lights on all the trees and the buildings, and Santa arrives in town at 6:30 and flicks the switch and turns all the lights on, and they stay on until mid-January, I think. Well, there's a craft fair, and so I am in the craft fair for Light Up. So if you are in Ladysmith, if you're local or close, even if you're, come to Ladysmith. A lot of people do for the Light Up parade. Come and see me. It's called Aggie Hall, which is kind of right down in the center of town, or close to the center of town. Come see me in the craft fair. All right, so I've just cut that out. It's close to, now I said it was going to go there. I think I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to cheat a little bit just because it's feeling like it's not going to fit where I said it was. But sketches are just guidelines, so you can cheat as much as you like. Just use it as inspiration. So I'm just going to put that sentiment down there. And I think I might need another dimensional in behind here. It's kind of feeling a little. Hey, Mary, welcome. It's late for you. Getting late anyway. There we go. I think that's a little better. Okay, now embellishments, because these are the in color dots. Again, they have the wild wheat. I went looking to see, I don't know that we have any Mossy Meadow embellishments, but you can always color some embellishments and with the blends. Let's put one on here like that. These ones are great. These, the wild wheat ones, they're hard to see. If you're looking for gold and don't have any gold embellishments, these wild wheat ones are perfect. Yes, this is definitely a masculine card. All right, so now let's take, I've got a piece of, oh gosh, I almost said Whisper White, Basic White. And so we're just going to take and stamp. Now I'm going to stamp off because, like I said, my Mossy Meadow is very juicy, and you get a much better sense. Oops, my camera has gotten blurry here. Let's see if it'll come back in to say a better sense of the distinctive stamps if it's not quite so juicy. Oh yeah, 11:15, definitely late for me anyway. I'm a early to bed, early riser. So, and that can go on the inside of the card. All right, there we go. So if I can find my sketch, it's pretty true to the sketch other than I moved my sentiment, but looks pretty close to that sketch. So if you haven't seen this stamp set, it's called Feathered Flight, and it is part of the online exclusives. So it's available in my online store. It will not, these online exclusives will never be in the catalog. The DSP is in the catalog. It is the Let's Go Fishing Designer Series paper, and it's really gorgeous, even if you don't use it for all the fish and other things. The backgrounds, even though it's fishing tackle and other things, you can use it on all sorts of cards. All right, so there we go. So tomorrow I'll be live with a technique at 2 o'clock. Thursday is my day to show you the thank you cards that you will get if you place an order of $50 or more with me. You get a kit to make 3 cards. So I'll show you those cards on Thursday. It will be at 9 o'clock Pacific on Thursday because I have an appointment at in the morning, and then I have to be at the craft fair by 1. So it's going to be a busy day, but I wanted to jump on and share the cards with you. So 2 o'clock tomorrow for a technique and 9 a.m. Pacific on Thursday. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Again, that sketch will go live in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes time. So stay tuned for that and all the measurements. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Happy stamping.